All right, everyone. And it's time we're going to get started. Here and right now. Hey, and we're welcome back. Or should I say, we are now back with here on Total Drama World Tour Simulator. And last time that all of us were in Niagara Falls. And some of most of other players were standing very well until Owen and Katie won first place in the last challenge and was safe in the game to go on. And as in for that, Tyler was voted off. And just, yeah, he was voted off. And was done that Alejandro pulled a fast one on him and made the guy to be sent home already. And wonder who might be going on home today that we will see what would happen. And the teams were all said to be over, which was dissolved about the time, or should I say it was about time, I was going to hold a trump card until it was going to be the case. And however, it's going to be pretty wild indeed. Guess it's time that for however, who is going to go home. And yes, all the teams have been dissolved, and there will be no longer any teams for the rest of the season, of the simulator season, I guess. For the third season, apparently. Alright then, so after all that now, and see who can score up the next win until we will be near the final 10 people left on the screen, as in for who whatever is yet to come with that on board. That chef will show you guys and who gets to be on the screen as in for now. So, anyways, wait, wait a second. Why are you in my hot tub? And it's only for host only, like myself to be in there, blatantly. Okay, I get it. Now, if you want to be in the hot tub that badly, then don't try to lose. And then you'll get a chance to be in the tub with the host that is me. All right then, just get out of the bathtub. Just get out of the hot tub already. So, anyways, sorry about that. Bling was just on the hot tub. But let's just focus on a very much likely certainly that we're just going to have to just get this intro over with so we can get on with this challenge. So, anyway, like that being said, I'm Chris McLean. And for much more for likely, who is going to be into the final 10? Or should I say at this point, whoever remains to be in the final 10 will be shown on screen, which is going to be literally shown on screen at the very end. So, if you want to see that happening, then let me know by any chance who do you guys think? Who will win the million? For however being in the final 10, exactly for however who gets to be in the finals, to be near the final 5 or for the very end. But anyway, it's time we wrap this intro up and get this challenge over with. Here and right now, for much more and yet again more questions, here again, Chris McLean. We'll see you next time. And also, the challenge will start by any means necessarily and will start right now. So, if you have any questions, let me know. And for much likely, yep, we're just going to see how impressive this will be and find out for much more. Isn't that right, Chef? Oh, yeah, hopefully so, Chris. Hopefully. But, hopefully so. Alright then, Chef. Who do you think is going to be in the final 10? I have no idea, but we're going to find out that sooner or later. That's right, here and right now, on Total Drama World Tour Simulator. Let's get this over with. Like, holy moly, let's just get it on with right now. Meanwhile, with Katie and Owen, or should I say, meanwhile, with Owen and Katie in first class. And so far, they were enjoying some cake. Which they were enjoying it, by the way, while they were won first place. And as in for Gothlistic Girl, she stayed along in first class with the two of them, by the way, by any chance, so guess that probably means that Gothlistic Girl is probably in with them anyway. And as in for the whole challenge still continues, so yeah. And also looks like they were having a very interesting conversation while Gothlistic Girl was talking to Owen, and Owen on the other hand was kind of feeling a bit down for how Izzy actually just pretty much dumped him by any chance, so ouch. That really kind of stings. But anyway, so meanwhile with Justin, Sadie, and Trent and Sally, which on the other hand, they were in the Chris McClain movie theater set. Well, they were actually talking about something. And as in for that, looks like Sadie on the other hand was pretty much wondering exactly for the same question as to talk to Justin, but in some light soon, Katie on the other hand went to check on Sadie and pretty much in the Chris McClain movie theater set, and of course, Justin sees Katie coming in to see Sadie, which they were definitely just chilling and talking with each other. And so far, as for Trent, looks like Trent was talking to Sally by saying is how would she win the million? And the question reveals this question for Sally. She already said was like, I would spend the money on something cool. Is open a bike race around the world and be the host while doing the bike race show, and it would be everyone like bike racers, which that's probably what Sally would win if she won the money, but too much likely to see how that will continue on. It looks like for Trent, on the other hand, was supporting on that idea and actually agreed to that idea, so pretty much. And also, meanwhile, in the back of the plane with Alejandro, Sierra and Josh, and of course Duncan and Courtney were in the back of the plane. So meanwhile, the 5 people are in the back of the plane. And as for Josh, on the other hand, he was kind of doing something while he's talking about that he was not a fan of Blaney in that last challenge. So, ouch. Looks like Josh really had to nail that last challenge, was not too well in that one. And as for Alejandro, by any chance, had definitely pretty much replied to the question to Josh, so looks like that made a lot of sense. And as into Josh, on the other hand, he explained it pretty much exactly to him exactly for that same other question. And Duncan was saying this, bruh, who cares? She's literally the one who is being the one who is rude to everybody here. And I don't see why that you both would even be asking it to know on for why, really. And it looks like Josh, on the other hand, was literally insulting Duncan on the entire way on that last challenge for coming in last place with pretty much of Duncan and Courtney on the last challenge, while him and Blaney were pretty much likely being it somewhere. Oh, and looks like Duncan throwed a bigger insult. You may think that you're the type of a guy that is a bigger liar than anybody else here on the plane itself. And after the challenge is over, then you're going to be cooked and done. And we'll tell most of the people to have you as a bigger threat. Oh, and then Josh replied back to Duncan. Ouch. It looks like as in for Josh, he left anyways. And as in for Alejandro, he was pretty much for once for agreeing with him, nearly agreeing. Bro, do you really think you would be trusting him, you dumbass? And he was in jail with me and Juvie before he broke out, long before he was out than I was. In another story. Hey, I mean, it's your funeral, Alejandro. And it looks like once again the conversation continues with that whole despite exactly with 3 people arguing, or should I say at this point it was like a near likely 1-on-1 and 2-on-V1. Well, for example, for a different cause in the back of the plane arguing. And as in for Sierra was thinking in her head exactly was about Josh while he left to know if he was a threat or not. And as in for Courtney, she was already talking. And she was talking to Duncan. It was Alejandro and Josh, and I don't trust neither of them. And I'm already likely to vote one of them off. What about you? And as in for Courtney, she was thinking of her voting off for Justin. Same. And I mean, I don't hate on the idea and how we should vote Justin off. And then as in for Courtney, she was already thinking that idea. Alright then, good call. And Blanley, on the other hand, was making the speaker talk exactly while she was just discussing on something while saying good evening to everyone. And then as for that, she was talking to Chef. And as in for the challenge, well, I guess it's time we'll get straight to this challenge anyway for that explanation. So, as in for things to be on the next second part, we're just going to get right to right now. So, anyways, once again, we'll get straight to the half part of the challenge and halfway part of the video. So, anyways, I'm Chris McLean. And like always, we'll see you next time after I had to explain a little bit of a different explanation into this part right now. So anyways, Chris McLean, see you on the next part. See you guys.